Hello, everyone. My name is Claire Schimmel, and I am here to talk about my article review. I chose to read The Role of Digital Literacy Practices on Refugee Resettlement, the case of the three Corinne brothers. So basically, this article is about a Corinne family who were resettled into rural Georgia from a refugee camp on the border of Thailand. And so it's a mom and dad and three brothers, and the article really focuses on the three brothers mostly. One is a senior in high school, one is a freshman, and one is a junior when the study begins. And I think it lasted around 2 years. So the two authors of the article were really interested in how digital literacies affect refugees as they resettle into a new life. So the author watching them for the 2 years really learned a lot about how they use different outlets to cope with their resettlement. So the big question was that they wanted to answer was, how do digital literacies facilitate the resettlement process of immigrant refugee adolescents? So this article was really good. Quite easy to understand. Some things I've read and I'm like, I can't, it takes me so long to look up all the vocab and all this stuff, but this was really good. And kind of like a story about this family and like what it feels like to resettle into a new place. So yeah, I would highly recommend reading this article. So some key terms that I found that are important for this article: digital media, which is any non-traditional platform or tool, such as applications, websites, and videos used for creating, learning, and communicating. Digital literacy is your ability to use these things to communicate, comprehend information through digital tools and media. And then learning about the Quran people. It's a huge population from Burma, which is now Myanmar, I guess. Myanmar is what we would call it now. But through the article, they call it Burma, so I just went with that. So they're mostly Christian population, and they gained their independence a while ago from the British in 1948, but they're still fighting a lot of regimes in Burma, Myanmar, and a lot of their people have been displaced, and many live in refugee camps or have been resettled into different countries. So basically, the three brothers used a lot of creative outlets when they were first resettled to Georgia. YouTube, GarageBand, they used a lot of Facebook, and that was really to keep in touch with their family and friends that maybe were still in Burma or had been resettled in other places. And a big takeaway from this whole article was how lacking their public schools were in using technological tools and really making the brothers feel like they were a part of this new community that they've joined. So my classroom application was really focusing on different cultures. If you're in that situation where you have students who are refugees, immigrants from different places, kind of shining a light on that diversity and making it special and making them feel comfortable. So I said it could be cool to have students introduce their culture in their home country. That could be with a slideshow of pictures or famous food dish. And I also thought it could be interesting to have like a little language lesson. Like the Korean brothers could I don't know, like teach the class a few phrases, make them feel a little bit better about, English being their second language. If all the other students had a chance to learn something from their first language. And I also think having digital media project in school would be good, because that was such a big way that the brothers they use these things to help them cope when they were at home, but they could never really express themselves at school because these things weren't used. So those are my two ideas. And a big connection I had with our class, like articles in our class textbook. I wrote more about it in my actual written up essay, but I think it's just more of using these technological materials. We don't know how a student's going to connect to that. I also think chapter 13 in our book talks a lot about incorporating technology into the classroom and how that works with pragmatics. So I said something about how the boys are probably communicating a lot in their native language, but they are learning some things about pragmatics if they're using like YouTube or Facebook. Those things could be in English as well, right? So they'll subtly learn some things. It's not going to be like explicitly taught. But I think my main takeaway for this was teachers needing to be aware of students' needs and how they can best express themselves in a classroom setting, and incorporating technology to let them be creative and collaborate with their classmates. And that would be a great way to connect and feel like they're a part of something. Um, Thanks for listening, guys. And I would definitely recommend reading this article. It's really interesting and like it was fun for me to read. I found it really interesting. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Bye.